Glory to Jesus Christ.
Glory forever.
It is a real joy for this little village mission to have such a wonderful guest who has traveled so far to share with us this evening. A dear friend from our seminary days. Our paths have crossed in various parts of the world. 10 years ago, Father Michael was spending a good part of a year in residency in Moscow at the St. Tikhon Theological Institute.
To begin, I've actually been asked to sort of give the camera people a few minutes to get set up and to do things. So I would like to say not so much anything in detail about myself, but I've been asked by several people this evening about this actually magnificent cross I'm wearing. When His Grace Bishop Nikolai bestowed the right to wear a jeweled cross on me several years ago, and saw this cross, he said, "Was this made in modern times or in medieval Russia?" Because the detail on it, it's hand painted and all of it done actually by one person, is rather extraordinary. We don't have people with that kind of patience, mostly. I know the iconography. He was a student in my English class at the St. Tikhon Institute, where, as Father Michael mentioned, I taught as a volunteer adjunct professor of English and the history of missions at their invitation back 10 years ago in Moscow. And the reason I did that was I was in a parish in Juneau, Alaska, the state capital at that time, that had sort of spontaneously converted itself to Orthodoxy in 1894. The 100th anniversary of the Church in America, this group of Tlingit Indians were under pressure to convert to Christianity because a few years earlier, thanks to the gold rush, they had become a minority in their own hometown. Thousands of gold rush stampeders, gold miners, had rushed to this part of Alaska to get a quick fortune. Very few of them actually got a quick fortune, but they became a minority almost overnight in their own country. And along with this came actually federally government-sponsored pressure for them in this region to become Presbyterians, because this section of Alaska was given to the Presbyterian Church in America to evangelize. But the Presbyterian policy was that if you became Christian, you also had to get civilized. And civilized meant pretend you came on the Mayflower. Cut your hair, put on a coat and tie, speak English and only English. And it was very difficult for Native Americans to pull that off. You know, who would believe you? If you're a Native American and you said you came on the Mayflower, it would somewhat preposterous. But in a sense, that was what the policy was. The real Americans came on the Mayflower, and if you wanted to fit in, you too should pretend you also came on the Mayflower, or at least play along with us. Well, in the meantime, the local priest, the local chief, was having a recurring dream of a short, white-bearded, balding Caucasian man encouraging him to become a Christian. And he had no idea who this was. He didn't tell anybody about this dream. He just had this dream nightly for weeks. The same guy telling him every night, be baptized. Well, but he didn't want to go into Christianity if it meant renouncing his language and his culture. So in the meantime, his son made a visit to some clan distant relatives in Sitka, about 90 miles away. Sitka, of course, was the capital of the country. Still, at that time, it still was. And it was also the diocesan center. The cathedral was built there and so forth. And of course, there was a resident bishop in Sitka. So this young man, Dmitri, he wasn't named Dmitri, I don't remember his Tlingit name, but he became Dmitri because when he went to Sitka on this occasion, he accepted baptism. And he accepted baptism